Welcome back to the invisible world of content. In this episode, we're going to dive into another one of the key patterns for omnichannel content delivery: structural standards. It's one of my favorite topics. We're going to talk about content models and how content gets shaped in systems and designs. Content structure, it's everywhere. And after watching this, if you're new to it, you might see digital experiences totally differently, because you'll have goggles on to see content structure in every experience that you're having. A has been championing the power of content structure for a decade now, and we've seen how powerful it is at every scale, from the simplest email to the most complex website. Structure gives you handles on your content and makes content portability possible. Let's dive in and look at the impact that content structures have on omnichannel. Are you ready? Let's jump into content structure. Number two is structural standards. We absolutely need content modules, micro content blocks, units of content, right? These Lego pieces we've heard about. All of that is much preferable to the big, giant, chunky document, right? Because we need to be able to take our omni-channel program and flex how much content any customer is exposed to at a given time. If they're on a watch, they can't look at the document. If they're reading an email, how many people are going to open the PDF and read it? How many people are going to look at the big, long-form content if they haven't seen some short form first? The chatbot certainly won't handle that. So, omni-channel deals with content structure as a native format. My friend Aaron Bradley talks about the fundamental nature of structured data as liberating the meaning of content from its visual presentation, making it easier for search engines to understand and use and transform the content out to different user consumption scenarios, right? That ability to engineer the content for search is also related to the ability to engineer that content for reuse in an omni-channel context. So, content structure is the physical organization of content within systems, whether it's on a printed page, or whether it's on a watch, or whether it's in the chatbot, or whether it's in various parts of your web properties. All of that is a container for content. And the containers that content lives in, that's the content structure. And that's the content model when it's expressed in a form that we can talk about. So building content models is our pattern number two: building, managing, and maintaining them. But not just for the channel, not just for the piece of tech, but a unified model that helps to bring it all together. That's what at A we call a core content model. And all content has structure, whether we recognize it or not. When we become aware of that structure, we can model it and manage it. And it shows up in what the humans see in the CMS and what robots see in the markup. It shows up in what we interact with in any given channel or experience. All of that is expressions of modular content. And just like semantics, we need a system that contains the authority for our content structure. That core content model needs a system of record. And at A, we're working on that. We'd like to involve anybody interested in that kind of shared model and a system of record for it, to reach out to labs@simplea.com, and we can involve you with some of that research. A content model does a lot of work. It's the way we understand and talk about structure across a busy organization that deals with a lot of technology. There's so many expressions of structure in an organization, but without a common conversation about it, it's a mess. So the pattern is to decouple ourselves from the mess by bringing meaning in the form of a shared model. There's so many different ways models are used in a CCMS, in a CMS, in a DAM, in a headless content API, search engine result pages, presentation templates, fields in Word and XML and JSON document object models and email templates. All of that stuff contains content structure, and all of it is messy and disassembled unless it's shared. Content structure expresses itself by creating content modules that are discrete units of content that can be handled separately, therefore controlled separately, therefore driven out to individual customer experiences separately. It's the same process regardless of channel, regardless of piece of tech. It makes it so much easier to maintain the mess that happens without a model. All right. But as we've seen, structure is not a complete solution. We need semantics to contextualize the information, and those things need to come together. And they don't just need to come together in one place, in one system, they need to come together across the content supply chain.
On the next episode of The Invisible World of Content,
We'll be looking at supply chain thinking and how it streamlines omnichannel. What are supply chains for content? Well, it's the systematic stages that happen when we create and transform our content. It's just how content gets done. And with supply chain thinking, we can maximize all of the efficiency, the volume, and the reach of our valuable content assets. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to catch the latest episodes. Check out all the content on simplea.com. And until we meet again, let's take one step at a time towards a smarter world.